Hey, and welcome to another episode of Motors and Meats. In today's episode, nothing but clicks. So last night I was in need of some wings and came up here, had some dinner with my boys, and got back to the car and it would not crank. So I've had the car now for about 8 months, and during that time I've had about 5 or 6 instances where I'd put the key in and turn and it would only click or nothing would happen. I'd take the key back out and then put it back in and it would crank right up with no problem. And I guess I should have thought about that more, because today it won't crank at all. You just put the key in and it just clicks. I have a tow truck coming on the way now to pick me up and take me home. I've done some research last night, again this morning, and there's a few possibilities. One, there is a sensor in the brake pedal, because if you turn the key and you don't have the brake pressed, it tells you to press the brake like this. Also, there is a sensor in the shifter that wants to make sure that you have the car in park. And I know that that sensor is working as well, because if you do turn the key on and you move it into neutral and then you try to turn the key off, you get the indication that it knows that it's not in park. So I believe that sensor is working fine. I believe the brake sensor is also working fine. What else? So the battery, of course, could be an issue. I've been trying it quite a bit here, so you can see that the battery is sitting a little lower than it should be. Whenever I first started doing this, though, it was reading normal, maybe just a touch below normal, but not enough below normal to be acting the way it is. It's not even doing a slow turnover. All we get is that click. But just to make sure, last night, after my wife came and picked me up, we went home, got the jumper cables, we came back up here, and we hooked the jumper cables up, and at that point I was showing over 13 volts, and it still wouldn't start. It would only click. You may have seen in my 996 episodes where I changed out the starter. Here's a link to that video. And that car was having a slow turnover and then would eventually not turn over. It would just click. So in this case, I think it's just the starter has been intermittent, and I think it's just decided it's done. It's stuck or seized. I've done some reading in RenList in the last few hours, and it looks like that is a relatively common mode of failure on the starter, that it doesn't give any indication that it's going to be seized up, and it just does. So I really need the car this week. I really need to drive, but getting another starter is proving to be a bit tricky. I've checked with FCP Euro, I've checked with AutoZone, I've checked with Pelican Parts, several other places, and the fastest I can get one here is in about 4 days. So that's going to leave me without a car minimum for 4 days. I'm going to keep looking and see if I can't find somewhere else that I can get one sooner. So we'll pick up this video again once I get a starter, and we'll see if that fixes the problem.